There are so many different fabrics that you can use for a cosplay. So in this video, I'm going to take you through my top 5. Now, obviously, this is not an extensive or exhaustive list of cosplay fabrics that you can utilize, but hopefully it's a little bit of a helpful place to start. And if you're looking for more tutorials, resources, and information on my cosplay or on any cosplays, you can subscribe to this channel as well as head over to my website, randomtuesday.com. First up is satin, which is probably one of my most used materials across all of my cosplay builds. It's traditionally made from silk, but you can also find it, especially nowadays, made out of polyester. Generally, satin is shiny on one side and matte on the other side, though you can find satins that are matte on both sides. Normally, they're referred to as matte satins. Satin comes in a wide variety of colors. It's really easy to find in most fabric stores. There is a wide range of satin qualities, and that does tend to relate to a wide range of satin prices. The fancier, more expensive satins tend to be a heavier weight, have a little bit more drape to them, and can stand up to a bit more wear and tear, whereas your cheaper satins are tend to going to be a little bit less sturdy, a little bit lighter weight. Satin itself can be pretty slippery to work with, and it is very prone to fraying, so keep that in mind whenever you're using it. Generally, satin has a medium hand, which means it's pretty good for drapey things as like dresses and skirts, and more structured things like jackets or even pants. Next, crepe. So technically, crepe is a subcategory of satin, but I was struggling to just limit myself to 5. Crepe is characterized by having a textured pattern either on both sides or on just one side when it is a crepe back satin, in which case it'll be shiny and satiny on the other side. Crepe is one of my go-to fabrics when I want more drape than a regular satin, as it tends to have an even softer hand than satin. So it's definitely not great for anything that needs to have a little bit more structure to it. I also really like that wrinkled texture, which can be really great to add just a little bit more visual interest, especially if you're looking for a cosplay or working on a cosplay that has a lot of really solid blocks of color on it. Next is a 4-way stretch knit. 4-way stretch knit is probably second only to satin, my other most used material in cosplay. Generally speaking, it is a knit fabric that is often made of a base fiber like rayon or cotton or polyester or nylon or a whole bunch of other different materials, combined with a stretchy secondary fiber like spandex, elastane, or lycra, which are actually all basically just brand names for the same thing. 4-way stretch knit fabric stretches along both the crosswise grain and the lengthwise grain, thus meaning it stretches in 4 directions. Because of its 4-way stretch, it's really great for anything where you want a lot of flexibility, something like a tight-fitting bodysuit or leotard. 4-way stretch knits can be a little bit tricky to find when you're searching for them online or even in store. They're often going to be listed under what the use for the material would be, something like dancewear or swimsuit or athletic, or these fabrics will be referred to by that brand name fiber like spandex or lycra. 4-way stretch knits also come in a wide variety of colors, and sometimes they'll even have prints or textured things across their surface. Generally speaking, 4-way stretch knits, especially those for athletic wear or dance wear, are really durable. They stand up to a lot of wear and tear, and in my case, also a lot of unpicking of seams. Now, stretch fabrics can be a little bit tricky to work with. You'll want to make sure that you have a ballpoint or stretch needle for your sewing machine. It'll make them a lot easier to sew. And it can also be helpful to use things like stabilizers in order to help stop things from shifting around, as stretch fabrics have a tendency to stretch while you're sewing them. Cotton and muslin. You'll find your very plain basic weave quilting cotton is sometimes just referred to as cotton, even though cotton is technically a fiber and not a weave, and you can watch my video all about the differences between weaves and fibers if you really want to. Cotton or quilting cotton is a really easy to find material. In fact, it's probably the most common material to find. It's relatively inexpensive and it's very easy to work with. I don't tend to use cotton in a lot of my finished cosplay builds, although there is a handful where it's really great for, as it is less visually interesting than something like a satin and doesn't have as much structure or stability as something like a twill. Most often, I'll actually use muslin, which is a lighter weight version of cotton quilting fabric. It's a looser weave, which also makes it less expensive. It's really easy to find, and its cheapness and its lightweightness and its general flexibility makes it really great for doing patterns or mock-ups. Twill is a thicker, sturdier, and more durable woven fabric. It generally has a medium to heavyweight hand. Twill is really great for anywhere that you want more sturdiness or structure, like jackets or pants. Often you'll find it actually listed under bottom weight instead of twill because it's just referring to things that are fabrics for bottoms, like pants and skirts. Colors for twill can be a little bit more limited because for some reason people aren't wearing like brightly colored jackets and pants all the time. But because it's often made out of cotton, you can generally dye it to whatever color it is that you're going to need. Twill can also be made out of other materials like polyester or nylon, and occasionally it might have a stretch fiber incorporated into it, which will make it a two-way stretch rather than a only stretch across the bias material. Denim, technically another subcategory, but I felt like it warranted its own section as well. It's a type of twill that has a slightly different structure to it, and that makes it even sturdier and more durable than just a twill on its own. One thing to know is denim and twill can often be used interchangeably, so make sure you're checking the information about the fabric, its weight, its materials, before you buy it, so you make sure you're getting the material and the sturdiness and the structure that you're going to need. Lastly, leather and/or pleather. There are lots of different kinds and weights and thicknesses of leather, real leather, and of course, pleather. Now, leather is made from animal products, pleather is a plastic. They both have different ecological and personal concerns, so use whichever one is right for you or makes more sense for you. Leather tends to come in two main forms, either backed with a fabric material like a felt, or even a stretch or a knit fabric, or a woven material, or without a backing at all, which gives it a little bit more of a realistic leather look. You can normally find pleathers either in the costuming or apparel wear sections, or if you're looking for the really heavy-duty pleathers, those will generally be in the home decor section. Pleather and leather are both heavy-duty materials, so make sure you're using the appropriate needle for your sewing machine, otherwise you will have a lot of broken needles, which I do not say from experience whatsoever. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know in the comments below, what are your top 5 or your favorite materials or most commonly used fabrics for cosplay, and what fabrics do you want to know more about, or other cosplay questions you might have. As always, don't forget to like and subscribe this video for that sweet algorithm-y goodness. And you can also head over and watch me live over on twitch.tv/randomtuesday, where I'm always happy to answer cosplay or other questions. You can also check out my website for more tutorials and resources, randomtuesday.com. Lastly, and never leastly, thank you to each and every one of my patrons who made this video and many other cosplay projects a reality. If you're able to do so, any monthly amount is truly appreciated. Thank you for watching.